Hello, everyone,
Sure.
and welcome to another episode of Wytpod. My name is Harshit, and I'm the Director of Business Alliances at Wytlabs. We're a digital agency specializing in SaaS and e-commerce SEO. And I've got Philippe Ruttens with me today. He's the CMO of TYK, a leading API management platform. A big welcome to you, Phil. So happy to have you with me today.
Thank you. It's TYK indeed. We work for engineers, architects, developers to unify, centralize, secure their API platform, gateway, and everything around API management. So pleased to meet you.
Brilliant, buddy. All right, Phil, you have a rich and varied background in both marketing and communications, right? Can you walk us through your journey from your early days as a freelancer to becoming the CMO and what key experiences that basically shaped your approach to marketing?
Sure. It's been a journey and it is still a journey. I've started actually working in 1992. So I am older than I look and always in B2B marketing. And I'm still learning every day because of the tech, MarTech, MarOps, AI, data analysis, and the shift in terms of B2B marketing to measurable and sales and revenue focus, which is why I've changed my career, if you want, or evolved, I should say, originally from Marcom into research, knowledge, lead gen, digital marketing, demand management, and in the last few years, obviously in the SaaS world, especially everything around go-to-market, revenue marketing, BM. In a way, the fundamentals of marketing haven't changed in my 3 decades of marketing, but the way you execute, the way you transform the focus, obviously the customer buyer journey, insights, data, tools, processes, that's constantly changing.
Yeah. All right. Now, your company has a mission to connect every single system in the world. Can you elaborate on how this mission shapes your marketing strategies and initiatives?
Sure. We do tech marketing and developer marketing, right? So a lot of SaaS companies are probably involved in that. We have different personas, different ICPs, going from a developer user, if you want, to an influencer, to a buyer, and then the C-suite. So we have kind of 4 levels of personas, like most companies. There's nothing rocket science there. But of course, as always, it's all in the details of how your product and market fit, obviously, what sides, what pain, what gain, what value, what problem, what job to be done, JTBD you're trying to focus on. And obviously it's a mix and it keeps changing. A way of marketing, as most B2B marketers, fundamentally inbound is most relevant in terms of helping. I always say help, don't sell. So guiding, educating. We have a platform maturity model. We have a blog, we have documentation website, we have a community where all our tech agencies are basically researching and informing themselves. So as we know, developers, engineers, they hate marketing, they hate sales. So SEO is super important. Content marketing is super important. The insights, the buying intent signals, the user signals from the product analytics, the ABM, the account-based marketing, and of course, how you can forecast, or actually, I should say, measure, predict, and then scale your content to the right persona at the right touch point of the journey, which is a spaghetti. It's not really a sequence. So there's a lot going on there, using tech, using data, fine-tuning your content, your messaging, or basically every day.
Gotcha. All right. And how do you see the role of APIs evolving in the next few years? And what role does your company play in this evolution?
Totally. I actually didn't answer completely your question in terms of what our company does, but it is connecting data and services. If you look at the internet, I think it's the number 2/3 at least of the internet is driven by machines, not people. Yeah. Is services, microservices, is services internally in a company between the developers, the engineers, the tech teams, but also their partners, the customers, obviously. So you produce APIs, you consume APIs in the company or outside with partners. If you look at Google, they have Google Maps, for example. There's all kinds of partners. If you look at Booking.com, taxi, flights, air hotels, etc., you name it. You have so many multi-sector partners AI is coming in a picture with machines, more data. So we love that. Obviously, at TYK, we help customers make sense out of it. Security, cybersecurity, as we know, is also an additional layer of needs. You need to secure, govern, centralize. But then you have the internal element, which is developer experience, an engineer experience, where you need a platform. Of course, you have gateways, you have platform, you have portal, you have dashboard. But the experience as a person, whether you're a marketer or product manager, API product manager, because now you have the API as a product and even platform as a product trends, is super critical. Having a platform like TYK allowing you to do it faster, to not suffer pain of trying to recruit developers, to automate it or to monitor, obviously, through dashboard, portal, etc., to avoid hacks, to make sure that your rate limiting, obviously your design strategy also has to be faster and better. But everything which is rate limiting and all the hacking that's happening could basically be mission critical or mission destroying, if you want, in terms of your business and your customers not being able to use your apps or your APIs or seeing their data. As we read in the news, big banks, especially regulatory sectors, seeing their data between apps, the APIs, the transfers and everything just being stolen, basically. So it is volume is increasing, complexity is increasing, security is decreasing, AI is throwing also a lot more into it too. So it is a great place to be for TYK to help customers manage, whether you're a traffic company in the US, whether you do retail, telecom, banking. It's absolutely critical that more and more apps are talking to each other and need to integrate with each other and get secure.
Gotcha. Okay. Now coming back to your focus on customer-centric growth. How do you ensure that your marketing strategies are basically truly aligned with your customer needs and behaviors? What that process looks like?
Without going into the details of our strategy, obviously, we have, like most companies, a research or insights team. We have data scientists, we have platform and tools allowing us to do it and to predict scoring, for example. So we have a pretty strong tech stack, being obviously a very tech company, allowing us to gather the data from behavior, from firmographics, from product analytics. We have a cloud, we have on-prem, hybrid, and cloud version. Obviously, cloud is where most of the data sits because on-premise, self-managed, it sits with our customers. We have also qualitative insights, obviously, from a range of sources, including the demos, including the debriefs from our salespeople, including our product team, our product managers, even customer support, the tickets. We have Slack telling us live chat information, customer success, product information, all that we do read in marketing. So we don't even have to do market research because a lot of it comes every day. What is their use case? What are the problems they're trying to solve, whether they're customers or prospects? So there's a gold mine of information. I think the trick for marketeers is using AI, first of all, to respect data privacy, because we ISO and all kinds of standards compliance. We cannot use ChatGPT. We may not because of compliance. We have our own AI tool for internal confidential sources. ChatGPT is only used for content, but we cannot plug our CRM into it, obviously, and other things because it's not compliant with our data security. So we do have our own AI, which is called Montag.ai, which is available as a beta on top of what we do internally. So we collect all kinds of data. We use tools to analyze, to produce AI insights. We use people. Obviously, you always need human analysis. To every day, we look at what our customers are saying, asking. We do workshops, we do webinars, we do hangouts. Obviously, we attend events. So it's a collection, it's a constant collection. And there are simple processes to report back, to discuss, etc. So it's important to keep it simple.
And what are the key elements to building a successful marketing team in the SaaS and tech industry? Can you share some specific strategies and practices that worked really well for you at TYK?
Yeah, I've managed teams. I've managed marketing, business development. I've transformed usually from a marcom to revenue marketing. A few years ago, it was digital. Obviously, now it's done. Now it's the biggest challenge is how can you move a marketing team from marketing, branding, more, let's say the more creative side to more measurable data, sales, revenue focus. And I'm lucky to have a great team, and I had to transform the team, obviously, with my colleagues and ensure that we have a strong bar ops person and tool tech stack is absolutely critical, that you have the training, that you have the stakeholders management, product, sales, customer success, the board, obviously the investors, as a CMO. It is, to be honest, it is difficult still after 30 years. I'm still, I still do mistakes, but I can course correct faster than before. I can use the mix of data. I always say 60%, 70% data, 30% remains your gut feeling. Or actually, I should say your experience, your maturity. So that's the advantage of being older, is that you've seen it before and you can spot more quickly, oh, these people, they have the attitude, the aptitude, the skills. You can train, you can always train skills. That's not a problem. But if you have the right mindset as a marketeer to be curious about the data, to ask questions, oh, I'd like to know more of this. And it doesn't have to be somebody, oh, I know how to get the answer, but asking the right questions to improve the pipeline, to improve engagement, to convert. The velocity, the conversion is super critical. So I can give you my 2 or 3 kind of versions of marketing teams, whether you have product messaging, content production, channels. It really depends. In all the companies, it depends on your commercial goals, on your go-to-market motion. Are you product-led growth? Are you sales-led growth? On your type of customers, on your size of customers. If you sell to enterprise, different from mid-size or small market. If you sell a product that is self-serve, different from a sales-led growth, where you need a longer journey, more complex journey, which can be 12 months as opposed to 1 month. It is also about connecting the dots with product and sales. Super important. The more you do that, the better team you're going to have, and you're going to find out, oh, we need somebody for product messaging inside or outside. It could be an agency, it could be a freelancer. And you need that type of person to plug the gap between different teams or at one stage of the process, if you want.
Gotcha. Now, what are the main KPIs that you prioritize at TYK for your marketing efforts, your sales efforts, and how do you use these metrics to have that, basically to drive that decision making and strategy?
Totally. I've learned from my experience in the last few years. Everybody knows that MQLs, leads, it's done now. Lead gen, outbound, SDRs, replaced by AI or not. Okay, that you can argue that. But the key focus for not only TYK and for, I would say, most marketing teams, for me, needs to be the deals or opportunities created. 1, the ARR created. 2, that's the ARR revenue. 3, the velocity combined, I would say, with the conversion, because you can go fast, but have low quality SQLs, let's say, or low quality deals and waste a lot of time. Or you can go more slowly, but aim for higher quality. So it's a balance between velocity and conversion. But the North Star is number and amount of deals created for us, for, I would say, most marketing team in the SaaS world. Investors, the board, they're not interested by the clicks or the shares or even, how many leads did you get as an MQL? Even SQLs, contacts or demo, doesn't matter to a board. It's, okay, what's in the pipeline? Is pipeline coverage from marketing 4 times? Is your ROI from your budget 8 times, for example, in terms of pipeline created versus budget spent? So it always comes back. Usually, I would say 80% for a board is the deals and the value of the deals. Of course, let's not forget customer satisfaction and churn and renewal, but that's part of it, right? On the pipeline, you have the partner pipeline, the new sales pipeline, the customer pipelines.
And what are the current trends that you're looking into, basically, when it comes to the SERP landscape from both SEO as well as paid side of things? Anything specific to your niche?
Of course, I'm talking B2B here. Let's keep that in mind. So in my B2B experience, I've been worked in banking, in manufacturing, in all kinds of services, professional services, and SaaS. It always comes back to the same mix of channels. Again, content being the fuel, if you want, the foundation, and the messaging, obviously, or the value proposition, I should say. It comes back to inbounds coming from SEO website, maybe 50-60% of the whole inbound machine, or maybe more for some companies, supplemented by paid, indeed. PPC, as we know, Google keeps changing the rules, I should say. And you have the cookies or lack of cookies situation. You have the data aspects, which are becoming more and more difficult. Of course, you have paid social, you have third-party content syndication, important. But that usually, I would say, for marketeers or ROI, it would be 10 to 20% of your budget and delivery on ROI. So 50-60% easily SEO website content, 10, 15, 20% paid. And then what's left, you have about 20% or a bit more. What we see and what I've seen is that events, physical, hybrid, virtual events, remain or are coming back since COVID as really important in terms of relationships development, in terms of connecting directly people to people, because B2B is P2P, people to people, educating them. Events are great to educate people on their specific pains, gains, value, not selling the company, but talking about how we can help them, just training in a way. So SEO website, a bit of paid, events, 20%. If you've got that right, of course, content as the basis. I would dare to say 90% of marketers are making their pipeline through these channels. Let's not forget social. Social, obviously, it's a delivery channel. It's good to have great content. You need to activate it. And of course, some companies, some sectors might have other ways to drive the pipeline. So hopefully I answered your question.
Yeah. And what about account-based marketing? Are you implementing that at TYK? And how do you basically, if yes, how do you integrate ABM with your broader demand gen efforts, basically?
Yeah, absolutely. I've started getting serious about ABM already before I moved to TYK to just over 2 years ago. Absolutely. Whether it's ABM, ABX as an account-based engagement, it is critical unless you only sell to SMEs, I would say. If you sell mid-size and enterprise, yes, you need that pyramid, one too many, one too few, one to one. We have 4 tiers, for example, for ABM. Obviously on top, the top account, 20, 50 accounts, whatever it is for you. And then you go down the list. The last bottom of the pyramid is the colder accounts, the wider, obviously, which you might want to push to outbound. But I call it all bound, ALL. Inbound and outbound integrated is the way to go for me for ABM. And of course, we know marketing and sales having to work together is not always easy. In our case, it does work. There's a process, there's different tiers, there is a scoring, a heat map, you name it, and content and workflows, obviously. So we try to semi-automate. We don't sell to hundreds of thousands of accounts, obviously. So we can still use a fair amount of manual. If you sell, again, to SMEs, you might want to go more automated, especially if you do self-serve, PLG. So definitely you need a shape of ABM, but I would go more towards all bound as opposed to the old-fashioned way of ABM, if you want. And you need to start small, pilot, and then optimize using, like you do in a way. You interview me for a podcast or on social, you do some studies and you get your accounts into your pipeline that way. I think it's a good way to do it.
All right. And anything specific that you're doing when it comes to the thought leadership? And is that playing any role in your overall marketing strategy?
Oh, yes, for sure. And if you look at people being influenced by people, they will look at what your AE, your AM, your engineers, your peers. So when I look at thought leadership, I look at other CMOs, for example, or I look at specific agencies or gurus. I think thought leadership not from a company page, but from people, what they share, the demos. For example, we have great experts sharing demos about how to solve something, or a demo with an opinion. So being opinion and injecting some facts, some examples to solve a case study, to put a use case together without trying to say again. I think it's critical. So the third leadership that for me, I'm interested, for example, are the templates and the benchmarks and any sort of report that is based on concrete, practical information, not McKinsey kind of reporting, because it's too fluffy, too high level, let's say, or academic, even if it's obviously quality. But I think thought leadership is absolutely critical. Having an opinion about an industry trend and proving it with examples definitely is part of that content machine, if you want.
Any specific challenges that you would like to highlight, like the biggest challenges that you have faced so far at TYK as a CMO, and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, I guess you mean marketing or revenue marketing challenge. I think it's, as you could read, probably hear from your colleagues, the SaaS world is obviously a roller coaster. And if you look at SaaSter and all these guys, B2B marketing is going reasonably well. B2B marketing is really not in trouble, but is really hard more and more because the tech stack, the tech budget, I should say, has not necessarily shrunk, but a bit of it is taken by hype around AI, which is still to deliver revenue. But we know that a lot of companies are pumping money into AI, but it takes money away from other SaaS, other tech stack and software. So as a B2B marketeer, you need not only to educate, but also to focus on the value that they're getting from your software or from your professional services early on, even before you sell, obviously, but also all through the journey. And it's not about, hey, we've got a new release and we've got the nice case study, but what for them specifically linked to their pain, what is the value, again, they can get from your product, obviously, and you need to measure that, and you need to work with your colleagues in product and sales, but also anything else, thought leadership that can help expand, amplify that value, or maybe make them realize, oh, okay, I have that pain, but actually I have another pain here or another pain here. That's why we do a maturity model where there's different levels, design, team, process, etc. And say, okay, I am benchmarked as a 1 here and a 2 here. And being able to help prospects understand where they are, how they can go from A to B or A to Z, depending on where they are. I think we're there as a guide, as a partner.
Gotcha. All right. Now, looking ahead, what new initiatives are you planning when it comes to your own marketing? Anything specific that you're really excited about? Any new technology? Any new martech that you're bringing in? Yeah.
There are amazing tools out there. There's thousands of tools, and we just generate new data, for example, from our website, where you can see the behavior nearly live. We can go into more refined details. So the power of the tools and the data to understand the customer behavior and journey or visitor journey is amazing. It's critical, and predicting through scoring where you should place your bets. I think it's really important. Keeping in mind, you need the qualitative side. I think for me, as a kind of older marketeer, it is making sure that you got your basics right and not being shiny objects here and there and changing direction. You need to keep the focus on your content, your website, being your shop front, on making sure that the right educational content is at the right place, shown to the right people. And the tools can help. But fundamentally, the value proposition, the messaging that you have as a brand that has to resonate and be personalized, customized, again, ABM, even tools like, well, we use HubSpot, for example. You can go quite far in terms of smart content with other tools plugged in terms of making sure that if you respect, obviously, the cookies and everything, that you're doing your best to show, okay, what content is going to help on that topic for that person, and then shifting to a new one if that person indicates a different need. And that's the best we can do as marketers, is serve them the menu, the meal that they want, and hopefully they will share it with their colleagues, or they will show, hey boss, I've got this great content. And the success of a marketer is they do the marketing for you, but you have to give them the seeds, the food to make that recipe if you want.
All right. So Phil, we're coming to an end now. Now
Right.
I would love to have a quick rapid fire with you. Are you ready for that?
A quick what? Sorry.
We'll have a quick rapid fire round. It will be personal.
Sure. Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. What habit holds you back the most?
Sorry, I missed that.
What habit holds you back the most?
The habit of forgetting what the data is telling you.
Okay. What chore do you absolutely despise doing?
Admin, like budget.
Okay. What subject do you find to be most fascinating?
Everything around dashboard and reporting.
Okay. What career did you dream of having as a kid?
I am quite into sports, so something around sport, athletes, absolutely.
Okay. What's your favorite sport?
Fitness, really. Anything around fitness.
And coming to our very last question, what was your last Gen AI prompt?
Oh, I have to think about that. It was typically for making a program, a structure of a program, or a presentation, actually, a keynote presentation. So what would be the structure? For example, an ABM one that you would use headlines and all that stuff. So, yeah.
All right. Brilliant. Thank you, Bill. Thank you so much for joining me today,
Welcome.
sharing your wonderful experiences about TYK and some of your winning strategies as well. I'm very hopeful that our listeners gonna find this extremely useful, and I really appreciate your time here. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you for your insightful questions too. It was easy and very insightful. Thank you to you.